thanks for being here. Thanks for helping honor Bobcat, who most of us either grew up loving as a comedian or their children loved as a comedian. Someone that's been continually producing relevant or valid art of some form for 30 years or more. That's how much I know. It's great to have someone that relevant here today with us. I can say he's a really nice guy. He was over eating at our restaurant beforehand just because. It was awesome. I haven't seen our staff that smiley since last year's Christmas party, so I mean, they'll be high on that for weeks. So I guess you probably are done listening to me talk, and so I didn't remember what the award's called, so I brought the cheat sheet. It is our great honor to present the Olympia Film Society's Outstanding Achievement in Directing Award to Mr. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Thank you so much. That was very sweet. And by the way, I still had to pay for the meal. They're very nice people, but whatever. I don't take this lightly. I really don't take this lightly after this horrible fucking week. I have to be honest with you. I went to I put on social media that I went to a protest, and turns out that a lot of Trump supporters love Police Academy. But I don't think they're familiar with the rest of my work. And they're very mad. They want me to die, actually. Unfortunately, I didn't engage in the form that we all die. But if I did happen to die fighting racism and sexism, I would be very, it's a good way to go. So they can I really needed a dose of your community. I really did. I needed Olympia, sincerely, to be with like-minded people. That's why I go to a protest, My girlfriend's with me. We kind of had our first fight tonight. She said, you have to take a shower. And I said, do I stink? And she goes, yes, you stink. And I said, you'll be in the minority. Oh, fucking light note. Hey, look, I love it here, but a couple of us could use some baths, all right? I'm not even talking about body odor, the patchouli even. Let's just give it a break. Let's give everybody's senses some kindness. I wasn't going to do this, but this seemed to be, this is something I wrote to my daughter, and then I posted it, and then this has seemed to be why it started the exodus of fans on social media this week. And it's funny because I can't imagine why this would. My daughter asked me, I was on a flight when the election results came in, and I was on my phone, and she asked me, how are you doing? Do you know what's going on? And I said, yes, I do, and this is what I wrote back. I said, I'm numb, but it's just put the fire back in me. It's time for me to make a big noise. Protect your rights, protect the gays, protect minorities. This will wake up the strength in good people. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of good will come from this. Too many good people just got a huge wake-up call. It's okay to be sad and scared, but love, the real beautiful kind of love, comes out of times like these. We're the new 60s. It's time to love, kick ass, and stand up to sexism and racism. So, as we're starting to make lists and decide, to quote Billy Bragg, if you got a blacklist, I want to be on it. I love the fact that people who have been attacking me, calling me Hollywood elite. My movies make hundreds of dollars. I'm 54 and I have roommates. And I rent, and I'm the Hollywood elite. We're all gonna be okay. And I love you not because you're fans, I love you because you're decent people. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for the award. I think I picked this movie because I did make it in the Pacific Northwest, but I also picked it because I've made 7 movies and this is my favorite one, so I hope you like it. Thanks a lot. What do you want to do with this? I'm not going to do Mystery Science Theater all night. I remember this shot. One more thing. I'll be selling merch in the lobby. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. We're going to do a Q&A after so we can talk to each other. But also, I won't be running out of here, so if you want photos after the show, I'll say hi and we can take photos. I just don't have anyone my age operate the iPhone. I don't know what the fuck is up with my peers.
What's an iPhone?
Yeah, exactly. People my age, they get behind an iPhone and they're like, Jesus Christ. I used to hate youth, and now I'm starting to get cranky about my peers. And I can, because I'm an old white guy, and we really fuck things up. All right. Thanks, man. His brain at that point in his life was giving him total misinformation, and it wasn't a case of someone getting so despondent that they killed themselves. It was a case of somebody truly not processing reality anymore correctly. And I don't want to diminish anyone who really does die the other way, but I want to make that clear because sometimes people think it was drugs with him, or sometimes people think it was his career or relationships and that shit, and that's not the case, you know. I think about him every day. He was my best friend. He was the first person I texted or called and talked to about anything. The other day I was mentioning this, and I realized that I really was Robin's best friend because I spent so much time with him bored out of my fucking mind, and everybody has this perception of Robin. Like, if you met him, he'd be on all the time, and it's like, he was off when he was with me. And he used to play that first shooter person game, Call of Duty, is that it? Is that the one?
Call of Duty, the combat game?
Yeah, and he'd be playing it, but he's playing other people, you know, through the computer.
Who had no idea it was Robin Williams.
Yeah, and I'd be sitting there for hours on end, bored out of my mind, and I'd finally go, how old are these people that you're playing? And he'd go, oh, I don't know, 12, 13? And I'd be like, I just know that there's guys now who are older going, I think Robin I think the genie called me a cocksucker once. Because he'd be cursing, and just screaming at children. But if you met him, he would entertain you, but he'd also laugh at what you had to say. He was generous, not just professionally and with his money. He was generous to everybody he encountered, you know. So my stories about him and I are always like, they're not like, oh, I met Robin Williams, and I understand I don't want to diminish your stories if you have those like that, but my stories are usually me being an asshole to him. Like, we were in the Caribbean once, obviously on his dime, and a barracuda, we were snorkeling, and this barracuda comes up, and just primal shit took over, and I just grabbed him and put him between me and the barracuda, not for a laugh, you know, and then he screamed and his mask came off, and then we all started laughing, and we actually ran out of the water, and he's like, you just put me in front of a barracuda. I was like, yeah, fuck you, you've had a career, you know. But I spent a good part of my life with him, and I know that all the suicide in the movie, and there's shit that I just realized tonight watching it that I didn't even realize.
There's a lot of very sad ironies in the movie, but I also think it's a very empathetic film. It felt to me like a film you might have written after you found out how it played out, because it's very kind on the subject.
Well, thanks. I mean, that seems to be my thing. I did another movie called God Bless America. And and I've always described that as a very violent movie about kindness. So that's why I don't see my movies as dark, because I always think that there is some sort of heart, you know. And this is as dark as it gets, but I do want people to feel hopeful.
I think it's also a vulgar film about goodness.
Maybe. Okay, I'll put that on the DVD. That's pretty good. Thank you. No, I don't even know. Look, we're all just the walking wounded right now, right? So it's okay for me to use you as therapy. Okay.
Welcome to a kind place.
So, not that I was BFFs with Kurt Cobain, but I toured with them, and I met Nirvana before they broke. Kurt liked my stand-up a lot, so I opened up for them. But when people find out that Kurt Cobain was a fan of mine, it's like finding out that Jimi Hendrix really liked Buddy Hackett or something, you know? But tonight I was watching it, and then Robin's in the water naked in the colors, and I was like, man, it looks like Nevermind, you know? It looks like some before, after Nevermind thing, and I don't know. And then Kyle Clayton, Kurt Cobain, I mean, maybe that was not... Yeah, right? That's what
I think you're psychoanalyzing yourself.
Yeah, okay. I was like, oh, fuck everybody. Look, I was also friends with Bowie, so this was just a shitstorm for me tonight, you know?
It's been a turd calzone of a year.
Yeah, and then Bowie comes out, and I was like, oh. And then Robin decided that song after that was going to be his song. Like, he really loved it. Like, he was... I love my friend dearly. He had really bad taste in music, and I don't want to trash anybody, but I'd come into... Let's just say, like, he would sit in his car, and it'd be, like, cool jazz or something like that. Oh, my God, this is fucking horrible. But he really liked that song when it was in the movie, and he said, this is going to be my song, you know, and he'd go on a talk show and say, could you play Under Pressure? And then, sure enough, when he'd walk out, it'd be Rockin' Robin or something, and he'd be like,
I should introduce myself very briefly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm obviously not the guest of honor, but my name is Christian Carvajal. I'm a writer and an actor in town, and I am the managing editor for Oli Arts, who is a partner with Olympia Film Society. Yes. Free copies in the lobby. Help yourself. Actually, Mr. Goldthwait was kind enough to speak to someone from our publication, so you are represented all over town. It is an empathetic film. That's what I was thinking all through it, and I do absolutely want to get to your questions, but I have one more. Obviously, Robin Williams was one of our great improvisational geniuses, and it's your script. What was the rehearsal process like? How much did that flex, and sort of what was his technique? How did that work?
Well, it was the rehearsal was Alexei, who played his love interest in Daryl. The rehearsal was I just wanted those two actors to be comfortable hanging out with Robin and not being overwhelmed by him. So
How long did that take?
well, it would be like, hey, so I just, on purpose, I wouldn't rehearse. I would just, hey, we're going to lunch, and then I'd say, let's go look at the school, and let's this and that, and, you know, Robin was a little bit like a puppy, you know, so he'd spin out and spin out and spin out, trying to make them laugh and stuff, and then eventually, I just wanted to get them to a place where they were like me, and they were, you know, it was friendly. But when we were doing the movie, about 2 days in, Robin just went, "Oh, I'm playing you," and I go, yeah, I think so." And but that happens in all my movies. Joel Murray played in God Bless America. He's like, it took him about a week. He's like, "I'm playing you," and I go, "No, you're not," but yeah, I guess so. But the thing that when Robin and I were working together, because we were so close, I would just say, see if you can, don't try to make anyone laugh but me. See how quiet you can be. I have headsets, I can hear what you're saying. So the first couple of days, just so he felt comfortable, I would let him try all different things and ad-lib and stuff. And then eventually he just kind of was like, he just trusted me, and we but I didn't know if he was going to trust me, you know, I'd never, he was in another thing I did, but I was just like going, the night before I was like, is he going to listen to me, you know, is it going to be like, you know, I'm going to say, hey, just do that scene a little quieter, and he's going to say, I have an Oscar, and you're in Hot to Trot, you know, but that's not what happened at all. He was a partner in this movie from the get-go. He read the movie. He asked to read the movie. He thought he would help me get it made by doing a small part, like he did that in Shakes the Clown. And he thought he'd be the principal. And then when he read the script, he asked if he could be Lance. Because I think if I was going to write a movie for Robin, I would have probably stayed away from English teacher. I think he's done that fairly well before this.
There were some memorable.
Yeah. So, in fact, one day when he came in to the classroom, the camera department were all standing on the desks. And they got my captain. It was sweet.
Just to get it out of the way.
No, it was sweet, man. You know, I was just kind of torn up there watching the movie, but I was also just having all these warm memories of us all working together. So.
I think he was one of those guys that when he passed, we suddenly were aware that he was a family member to pretty much everybody. He's just been a part of our life. My wife reminded me that we were at the Pink Door in Seattle probably while you were shooting, and we literally ran into him on the way back from the bathroom. And it's almost like running into your uncle. Like, oh, hey, Robin. You know, of course, he doesn't know who we are, but it's just...
There was that, but also hanging out with him felt like sometimes like I was walking around with Mickey Mouse. Do you know what I mean? The way people reacted, like, you know, they would get, you know, I once took him to this, in LA, in Silver Lake, there's this, well, I don't know how to describe it. It's a place you buy art and all kinds of stuff, but,
I know that place.
Wacko.
That place is great.
It's a great place. The stuff they sell is awesome. The staff has always been shitty to me. They're all, you know what I mean? They're just, you know what I mean? It's just fucking blasé tattooed motherfuckers that they could give a shit about anything or anybody. And then I bring Robin in there and they're squealing and jumping behind the counter. And I was like, fuck you, man. You've been so aloof for all these years, you know. And I was like, but, you know, that's how people
Well,
love them.
you're in a room full of people who are about to treat you like that. So,
No,
who's got questions?
sweet. Hi.
I'll let him. Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want the pressure, but I just saw you in the center here. Hi.
Well, first of all, it's awesome to talk to you. Big fan. But, you know, hey, I'm a local producer here, so getting ready to produce my first movie here in Olympia.
No pitches.
No pitch. But my question is, if we want hard hitters like you or Robin Williams and stuff to look at our work as a screenwriter, right, how do we approach those people like you or other people?
How do you approach someone like me or Robin Williams? Well, to read your script, that's very sweet for you to put me in that category. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because I do want to support other people, but I also, it's weird, you know. It sounds like bullshit, but I tend not to read scripts because later on, if something in my screenplay is similar, I could be exposed. But I do encourage people to make stuff, you know, and I do, you know, right now for the first time in my life, I have a little more heat in show business, which is really surprising. And my girlfriend knows this. I was overwhelmed because I wanted to help everybody. And it was actually Mark Duplass that said to me, he said, you know, you can't help everybody, but you have to help some. And so that's what I do. It sounds like, you know, how do you get scripts to people like me? You know, the thing about the movies that I've made, the second movie that I made that kind of changed my career was this movie that I shot for 20 grand with a cast of unknowns. And of course, people didn't know me, but I just had to make it. You know, I got a crew from Craigslist. I stole a lot of costumes and props from other films. And at the end of the movie, I said, we'd like to thank, and I listed the movies. They didn't know that they helped. And that movie made it to Sundance. And the only reason I tell that story, people can say, well, sure, you got a movie into Sundance. But I can't imagine, you know, 12 years ago, you're working at Sundance, you get a movie, and it says written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. Trust me, there was a lot of eye fucking rolling going on in the Sundance office that day. Oh, how's Screech's movie? Wait, I'm almost finished with Pauly Shore's. You know. So, it's hard. I don't know how you get folks like that because, you know, I'm currently doing a TV series of my own, which is an anthology show, and each week is completely different. And I've been reaching out to people that I don't know, and I've successfully been turned down by every single one of them. So I don't have any advice for you. And if you want to know the truth, at this point, I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to go back to the way I always made movies, and that's just with my friends, you know. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know how people do it. Like, I'm always amazed at people that put together these amazing casts for their small movies, and I'm like, how did you get these people to commit, you know?
Do you, as a writer, do you work with a manager, or do you just go straight to packaging it?
No, like, the last movie I made was a documentary called Call Me Lucky. And, thanks. And, I shouldn't tell this story, but you guys won't tweet it or anything. So, that movie was at Sundance also, and I got a call from my agent, and she goes, because it was in the trades, they announced it, and she goes, hey, Sundance. And I go, yeah. She goes, you made another movie. So that's how I do it.
She calls you every day is what you're
Yeah, I can give you some advice about making small movies. I just pick a date, and I tell everyone we're doing it then. And I lie and tell them we have the money, and we don't have the money. We've never had all the money when I started a movie, at all. I just say we're doing it that day, and it's never not gone, but it's always gone, but it's really funny. Especially if you saw Call Me Lucky, the documentary about a hero mentor of mine, who's a brilliant comedian, but no one knew him. And it's about him. He was raped when he was 4. Him looking for other survivors in the early 90s, and he found all this child pornography being exchanged on AOL. He went to the feds. They didn't do anything. He went to the AOL. They didn't do anything. He posed as some children, got all this evidence against the pedophiles, and then he took AOL to the floor of the Senate, and he embarrassed them, he kicked their ass, and changed laws, and yeah, that's my friend Barry. My favorite Barry Crimmins joke is people say, if you don't love this country, why don't you get out of it? And he goes, why don't you leave it? He goes, because I'm afraid of our foreign policies. But the whole time we were making that movie with Barry, he was like going, is this really a movie? And I'm like, yeah. And then finally on the last day, I said, do you really think I could get money when I started this movie? It's like, wait, it's about a guy you never heard of who's an extreme leftist comedian, but wait, it gets better. It's about his rape when he was 4. And he just laughed really hard. He's like, yeah.
Starting a bunch of comics not telling jokes.
Yeah, a lot of comics not telling jokes. Yeah. I'm proud of that movie. I like that movie too.
Oh, I haven't seen it, I confess, but a lot of people, when they found out that I was going to be talking to you, which came together kind of at the last minute, they said, oh, have you seen that Crimmins thing? No. You got to throw that on your queue, dude. It's got fans already. It's very popular.
Yeah, I think I kind of do myself a disservice, you know? It's like, I follow up. I don't make a scary Bigfoot movie, and then I make a movie about child abuse that's real. And then
So a lighthearted musical is next.
I totally want to do a musical, but
Let's take another question.
no, I just think it's funny. Like if I just, there's a lot of auteurs, folks that I really admire, but they tend to make the same movie over and over again, and then they develop a fan base, you know? I mean,
That's what every marketer tells you. You got to have a brand.
I mean, I love Wes Anderson, but I would love to see him do a scary movie. I'd love to see him do a musical. I'm just, oh, great.
I would love to see
comes
you do a scary movie with Wes Anderson.
It's like, oh, here comes Wes Craven Anderson. It's like, oh, great, here comes the shot of the luggage. Mind blown, Wes. I mean, he's a genius, but all right, the overhead shot of a map. Sorry, I'm a little cynical, a little crabby tonight.
Who's up next? Right there.
What's the symbolism behind the 2001 shirt?
Oh, the 2001 shirt in that.
Good eye.
Yeah, nice you caught it. It's the fact that, Lance is writing science fiction. I don't know if that's even clear, but that's why I just had things that he liked, you know. I realized tonight when I was watching, I really counted on the zombie thing. And I think it doesn't take too much, you know. I guess the zombies in this movie to me we're all just not woke, as the young people say.
Who's up?
In the back. So the scene with Dr. Dana, where he's laughing and crying, can you tell us how that came about? I mean, did he take that on one take, or?
Yeah, that's a good scene. That scene we were both. He's asking about when he's on Dr. Dana. It was written, but it wasn't. It was just weird. It didn't say he laughs like he's crying. And we went to film it, and we both were really exhausted. And I said, just play the reality of how we're feeling right now. I said, there were some personal things in his personal life that I mumbled in his ear just before we rolled. And then he just did that. and it was so awesome. And then I came back, and I go, that was really good. I go, you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm okay. I go, can you do it again? He goes, I think so. And I go, oh, the cameras. And so the woman interviewing him didn't know that was how he was going to react. So I loved her performance when she's like reaching for Kleenexes. She didn't know what the fuck was going on. So it was really good. That's I think my favorite scene in the movie because he's so good, you know. And like a lot of the scenes, there's a lot of music. It's something that sometimes gets criticized for, but I was telling Harry on the way here. It's like I once read this interview with that Cameron Crowe when he's directing will have music, and he goes, I think this scene is like this, and then he plays a song, and I think as an actor you'd be like going, oh Jesus Christ. But that's exactly what I did all through this movie. I would say, this is the song that's going to play now. And lots of those songs I was actually playing on the set, holding a boombox. Speaking of Cameron Crowe, I was actually holding a boombox. When Robin comes running around the corner and smiles for the first time after he does that speech in the library, I'm standing there holding a boombox playing under pressure, you know. And when he smiled, it was a few weeks into the filming, but when he came around that corner and he smiled like that, I've had this wave over me. I go, I think this might work. I think we might have a movie.
I want to take one more question from an audience member, and I want it to come from you.
I was just going to ask, I think Bruce Hornsby comes off really well in this movie. Was it hard to get him, I mean, maybe, to get him to be in a movie where the joke is basically that it's ridiculous, but this kid is going to like him.
Yeah, she's asking about Bruce Hornsby's involvement, and was it hard to get him involved because he's slightly a punchline. But there's a lot going on there. Bruce Hornsby, you know when he's singing at the end and there's a woman mouthing along? That's his wife. And then when the kid blows his nose, that's his son. So clearly Bruce Hornsby's used to having the piss taken out of him. So those are the people that love him the most. So I was trying to figure out who it should be. I wanted to be someone that Robin's character would listen to, but was a viable artist. So my own test was Jeff Pearson, who's the principal, says, "Thank you, Bruce Hornsby." I would just test that. I was trying to imagine Jeff saying that, so I'd be like going, "Thank you, Michael Bublé," and I go, "Thank you," you know, and I just kept doing it, and then it was like, so the weird part was, I called my friend who produced his records 20 years ago, and I hadn't spoken to him in a long time, my friend Tony, and I go, "Hey man, are you still friends with Bruce Hornsby?" And he goes, "Hang on." And Bruce Hornsby and him were working together. And he put him on the phone. He's like, "Hey, this is Bruce Hornsby." And I was like, so, but tonight when I was watching it, there's so much Bruce Hornsby music in the movie that I was like, Bruce Hornsby kind of killed it musically in this movie. It's really funny. There's a lot of songs and cues that he did. He when he walks in, he says, "You know, when I heard Kyle died, I heard he was a big fan, and I had to come." He was really nervous about acting. And so he said it a few times and he flubbed it. And then finally he got the line right. And there's an outtake where you hear me go, "Yeah! Fuck you, Huey Lewis!" But I came in with a slight bit of snark, but I think his music is actually pretty, you know, that's just the way it is. It's a pretty profound song, especially in the times we're in right now. And then ended up becoming a fan and really liking him. Although when I showed him one scene, it was really funny when Daryl's character goes, "Bruce Hornsby's a fag." And by the way, I like to... Never mind.
We know.
Okay, thanks. So Like, yeah, I was like, I wrote that because I wanted you to hate the kid. I didn't want you to like.
It worked.
Good. Yeah. But Bruce, for his own sanity, I think, he goes, you know that part where he says Bruce Hornsby's a jerk? And I'm like, yeah. I don't know if I wasn't going to, no, he doesn't call you a jerk. You know. We all have that built into us. I was trying to sell Shakes the Clown to a studio after it was filmed, and it was on this big lot, and we were playing. So I'm in a screening room, and there's this executive, and I just hid in the projection room because I didn't want to drive home. And the guy watches the movie for 5 minutes, and he goes, "Turn it off." And the projectionist goes, "What did he say?" I go, "I think he said turn it up." And then the guy turns it up and goes, "Turn it off!" And so now I feel like I fucking want to die. And I'm carrying the film canisters through this lot. And Robin was filming Hook at the time. I was like Willie Loman, you know, walking through the studio. It's important to be liked. Will you buy my breakfast? So Robin's filming Hook, which, you know, the set at the time was this $11 million set that took 2 sound stages with actual ships in it that were floating. And I go, "How much does this cost?" He says, "Well, this is about 10 or 11 shakes." And Spielberg comes up and he goes, "You two guys are friends?" He said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "Well, that would be a movie." And I go, "Yeah, well, I'm the one holding out." And then he didn't laugh. And then we started talking, and Robin's ad-libbing, and he did something about some sort of like some vitamin, and he was making a joke about vitamins. And Spielberg is like, and he looks over to his flunky, and he goes, "Hey, we got to get Tiny Toon vitamins." And then he turns back. I mean, that's what he's thinking about, like marketing Tiny Toon vitamins. And I go, "Yeah, what's the point of your kids getting the essential nutrients if you're not getting a little back in?" And Spielberg doesn't laugh, and he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun." That was the end of my fucking encounter with Steven Spielberg, and I slump off.
And that's why you weren't in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
All right, well, I want to finish with a question for me. I want to indulge myself. Obviously, this has just been a fucking shit tornado of a week. And I have a feeling that that in a lot of ways, comedy has almost become the protest music of the last 10 years. It's how people seem to act out. And as one of the great stand-ups, and I mean that, somebody who melded character and a personal voice very effectively. How effective do you think comedy is as a protest or as a pushback? And what's the most effective way to do that, do you think?
Well, I would have, at one point I probably would have rolled my eyes at that, but I've already know that it's effective. I've already experienced it. So, I you know, years ago, I did this persona that people were familiar with, but like, if you go back to my first HBO special, even though I'm in that persona, I'm doing jokes about Oliver North, the Iran-Contra scandal, just, you know, a lot of material bashing the current administration. And I felt myself withdrawing for 2 reasons. One, I felt I was preaching to the converted, and 2, it just got exhausting when I was out in the heartland to always be fighting with people. You know, going on wacky morning radio shows, you know, Taint and Teabag, and when they were being sexist, I would fight it, and then eventually I stopped fighting it because I just thought it didn't matter. And I after this week, I just made a commitment that it's like, you pissed off the wrong 80s comedian. I'm so fucking back in, you know. It's like, you know, I don't know. It's been really funny. All the comedians I know, we've all been. It's like a flare went out. We've been all. I mean, I'm. You know, we're all talking. I know we're gonna do something. You know, immediately. It's funny. You know, it's just. I'm not BFFs with Judd Apatow, but I just, you know, send him a text. I go, all right, let's fuck up some shit. And he goes, okay. He goes, let's go talk to Norman Lear. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's what I'm doing Tuesday, you know. We're going to fucking get it going, you know. It's just like, I'm seeing Patton tomorrow, you know. It's just, and I really, and you know, it's kind of, we really, for the past 50 years, we've overused using the example of Hitler and Nazis. Do you know what I mean? George Bush is Hitler. It's like, man, now it makes sense. You know, when people are starting to talk about making lists of your faiths, you know, when people, you know, I don't want someone to go to me, hey man, when they took away women's reproductive rights, where were you? You know, I want to be able to say, I was fucking there. I was there. I was in the marches. I was making, you know, where were you when, you know, I love my Muslim friends. I love my Native American friends. I'm not being condescending, you know, I'm in
It's all
it.
hands on deck.
Yeah, and you know, I'll tell you the greatest group, I feel a little sad for them, but these people that say, hey man, why don't you give them a chance? Or they act like it's just politics. It's not politics, man. It's a man who got elected on hate, and this is a guy who's a self-confessed sexual predator, and everybody just is dismissive of it as if it was locker room talk. Yeah, maybe if he went to school with fucking. Sorry. In Palo Alto in Stanford, and it was in the swim team, maybe. With Brock, the rapist, maybe that's the locker, but yeah, I'm really pissed. I'm not funny yet, but I'll fucking sharpen it up. And the people that say, hey, let's give them a chance, you know, I understand they're scared, but at the same time, they can fuck right off, you know. And I have gotten a lot of threats and stuff, but I've also, everybody who threatens to kill me is also, they block themselves. Although I was at a march the other night and I'm walking around and I have a white cowboy hat on. And people go, and they're going, why'd you go and cry? And it's like, I did cry. I cried because I was just with like-minded people and I didn't feel alone and it felt so good. There were tears of joy. But I'm also in the march and I'm looking at it and I'm like, do I look like the enemy? You know, I'm this old white guy in a cowboy hat. You know? But I was met with nothing but love. And then my friend Barry Crimmins, he says to me, he goes, you know, to kind of take away the power of what's going on at a protest, they'll interview the crackpot dressed as Uncle Sam on stilts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then he's like, hey, you know, so they minimize.
They find the wacko in any group,
right.
No matter how sincere.
And although I just showed up at the rally, I didn't realize I had an I Believe in Bigfoot t-shirt on, you know? And I'm like, which I do, but I'm like, this is not the place, you know? I can see it already. Bobcat Goldthwait was there, and he believed in Bigfoot, and blah, 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 you know? Fuck off, everybody, you know? Yeah, I'm a little crabby, but I don't know. I haven't ever had death threats before. And I'm not very afraid of them, but I'm also just, if you think that's going to stop me from being vocal and out there, it's only fueling my fire to get out there even more, you know, so. Bobcat Goldthwait. Hey guys, no pressure, but if you want to say hi, I'll be in the back and we'll say hi. Thanks.